Welcome back, everyone. Usually we dive into documents, history, maybe some complex science. But today, today we're turning to something a little different, more personal. We're looking at the world of 911 dispatchers. Specifically, we have this account from one operator about a call that was so disturbing, it completely changed how they saw their job. This isn't really about policy today. It's about that intense psychological pressure, being that last voice someone might hear.
That's a really important distinction. You think 911, you think constant high-stakes drama, right? But the operator's account actually highlights how much time is spent on, well, the mundane, or sometimes just the bizarre. They mentioned this one guy calling 911 to complain about noise from his own party.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. But then there are calls like this one, where it flips instantly from weird or maybe routine to life and death.
And that's when the psychological toll just, boom, skyrockets for the operator. This account, it's a really stark example of that.
It really is.
Yeah.
So the operator described this particular evening as quiet, slow, kind of dull, actually. They were covering for a friend, doing an evening shift, watching the clock, really. And then the line lights up. Standard stuff, headset on, run the script, 911, what's your emergency?
And right away, it's different. The voice on the other end, that's the first sign something is deeply wrong.
Yeah, a child's voice. Very soft, maybe crying. Hard to tell exactly. Saying, I think there's someone in my house. The operator said their heart just sank instantly. Calls with kids are always the absolute worst. You have to keep your voice totally calm, smooth, maybe even a bit upbeat, which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But you're doing that while internally, you're scrambling, trying to get life or death information.
The training kicks in there. You need to build trust fast and get those key details. Who are you? Where are you? What's happening right now? Is the danger present? Instantly.
Right. So the child gives her name, Elizabeth. The operator, keeping that calm voice going, asks who else is home. And here's the first kind of hurdle. Elizabeth just says, they're not home. I'm not sure where they are.
And that immediately changes the whole situation for the operator.
Yeah.
They mentioned feeling this flash of anger, parents leaving a young kid alone so late, irresponsible. But you have to push that down. That internal conflict, judging the situation versus focusing purely on the immediate threat, that's a huge stressor. Plus, protocols might change, too. A kid alone. Sometimes that triggers welfare checks on top of everything else. It complicates things.
That anger didn't last long, though, because things escalated quickly. Elizabeth started saying she thought, they're looking for me, and just stopped. Mid-sentence. Silence on the line, except for this quiet, terrified breathing. And then she whispers it, the thing that just turns your blood cold.
They said my name. Wow. But what's really important, I think, is what happened next. Elizabeth's survival instinct. The operator confirmed she was hiding. She'd gone to her parents' closet. That's crucial. So many kids in simulations or real events, they just freeze, panic. The fact she hid and was still talking, even whispering, that gives the operator something, a small thread to hold on to.
Just enough. She managed to give the address. It was apparently a pretty nice neighborhood, middle class, and critically, it was close to the police station. That was maybe the one bit of good news. The operator promised her police were coming, lights and sirens, right away. Estimated maybe 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Feels like forever when you're on that line listening to a scared child whisper about someone in the house. Normally, you'd try to get a description of the intruder, right? What do they look like? What are they wearing? But here, with a child alone, the operator made the right call. Speed over details, get units rolling. Forget the questions for now.
Yeah, absolutely. The operator told Elizabeth, just focus on my voice, stay hidden, stay quiet. But then, Elizabeth didn't answer for a while, like a really long, heavy silence. When she finally spoke again, it was just one word. And the way she said it, chilling. Listen. And the sound changed, like she'd moved the phone, maybe holding it out slightly, away from her mouth.
So now the operator is completely blind, just relying on sound, pure auditory information. And that helplessness must be intense. You can't act, you can only listen. That's incredibly stressful. And what they heard, faint at first, but then clearer, whispering, the operator was sure, definitely sounded like more than one person whispering.
More than one. And the operator talked about that feeling, just this awful, crippling frustration, knowing you have the training, the systems, you saved lives before, but right now, miles away, all you can do is listen to the danger getting closer. Then the silence breaks again. Elizabeth's voice, but it's different now, just muffled sobs. He's coming up here, please help.
Okay, so the timeline is critical now.
Yeah.
That 5-minute estimate, is it going to be enough? The threat is actively moving towards her. Time is running out for the police. The operator's just trying to keep her on the line, right? Keep talking. Promise help is almost there. using that hope.
Exactly, trying to keep her grounded.
Yeah.
But then everything went quiet again, except for the whispering. And it wasn't quiet anymore. It got much louder, much clearer. The operator said they were certain now they could pick out maybe 3 distinct voices, at least 3, just whispered. A horrible sound. And then the sound they were dreading, the unmistakable creak of a door opening.
Yeah.
Right through the phone line, Elizabeth screamed. Just screamed. And the operator, fighting to keep their voice steady, trying not to crack, is demanding, "What's happening? What do you see? Talk to me, Elizabeth."
Emma.
And then comes the description, the part that makes this call stick with you, the part that doesn't make sense. Elizabeth whispers, her voice shaking.
"There's a man. He has really long legs and a really big smile."
That description, the impossible height implied by the legs, and that smile, that's what haunts the operator.
In high-stress situations, victim descriptions can be unreliable. Panic does strange things to perception. But that detail, a really big smile, it suggests something beyond just fear. It's almost grotesque, surreal. It points to a level of psychological shock that's hard for anyone, including investigators later, to really process.
Totally. But just as that horror sinks in, there's another sound. A sudden bang, loud, and someone yelling, "Police!" They were there. The units had arrived. The operator confirmed it. "Elizabeth, the police are there. They're in the house." A moment of relief, right. But it vanished. Instantly.
Because the whispering didn't stop.
No. It actually got louder, more intense somehow.
Which is incredibly confusing. Police are on site, presumably securing the area, but the operator is hearing this. And remember, Elizabeth only described one man, the tall one with the smile. Yet the sounds suggest maybe 4, maybe more people still whispering, even with police present. That's a major conflict in the evidence, visual versus auditory.
A huge discrepancy. And it all leads to the very last moments of the call. Elizabeth is clearly still focused on that man she described, the one with the smile. She delivers her final line, just before the connection cuts. Completely dead. Instantly. Her last words were, "He isn't touching the floor?"
And then nothing. Silence. Line dead. The operator, frantic, tried calling back, overriding the system, anything. But nothing worked. Just static. Silence. They later confirmed with the police who responded. When they cleared the house, secured everything, all they found was the phone. Dropped in the parents' closet. Elizabeth was gone. Her parents, when they were eventually located, or if they ever returned, they were gone too. No trace of them since. No trace of any intruders. Nothing.
It's an absolute void. An unresolved case. A call that didn't end with rescue or even a clear tragedy you could investigate. It just ended with this impossible image. It really shows the limits sometimes, doesn't it? When faced with something truly inexplicable.
Yeah. And the operator's account really drives home 2 points for us, I think. First, that immense professional burden, listening helplessly as something awful unfolds. And second, the core safety message that came out of this whole traumatic experience for the operator. It's the one thing they wanted to make sure got passed on. And it's simple but vital. We have to share this with you. Their message was, please don't leave your young children home by themselves.
Just please don't.
Oh.
A message driven by deep professional trauma. And as you think about this story, consider that final puzzle. If the operator heard multiple whispers, why did Elizabeth only see one man? That man. Was the thing she saw just so terrifying, so central, that it kind of unblocked out everything else around her? We'll likely never know. Thank you for joining us for this unsettling deep dive into a dispatcher's worst nightmare. If you want more stories like this, true accounts from the edge, please do like this video, share it with someone who appreciates these kinds of mysteries, and definitely hit that subscribe button for more from Horror Docs. We'll see you next time.